Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome everybody to this session, to the Arabic Taster session by Arabic by Application. My name is Jubril Alao. I'm the founder and also one of the teachers at Arabic by Application. Today, inshallah, we'll be going through a taster session and I'll show you a sample of what it feels like to learn Arabic with us so that inshallah you can make an informed session of what a typical class will look like and then decide based on that whether you think you'd want to join us, or inshallah you'd hopefully want to learn Arabic this way. So to start, I'll introduce myself. My name is Jibril Alao. I have been teaching Arabic since 2005. I myself started learning Arabic around 2001 as a student in university, and I was in Syria in 2002 just for a few months to sort of learn Arabic poetry, literature. And then 2005, as I said, I was invited by my teacher to start teaching Arabic. Since then, alhamdulillah, I've taught a few hundred students, and some of them actually are now Arabic teachers. It's very humbling to see if you've been a part to someone, being infected with the passion to teach Arabic. And alhamdulillah, so some of them are actually doing very well in different institutions and are already Arabic teachers. And why did I mention this? Whenever you want to learn something from someone, it's important for you to know that they have a well laid out path from zero to fluency, so that you know that when you learn with them, you're taking what we call a muwatta, which is a well-trodden path that inshallah will lead you to Arabic fluency. So that's my name. Arabic by Application, just to give you a quick introduction to the institute, is an institute I started about 5 years ago as well, with the aim of teaching Arabic through using Arabic. The word application, as some people might think, it doesn't mean like an app per se, although that's a maybe medium-term, long-term goal, but it means applying the language regularly. What sets us apart from other institutes is that we insist on daily application of the language when you learn with us. What does that mean and what does that look like? The structure of our classes is that once a week, every Sunday usually, we have a 1.5 hour class. In that 1.5 hour class, I'll teach you how to use the language. I'll teach you basically a few phrases, a few sentences. And then what the key part of our structure of our institute, of our method, is that we insist that whatever you're taught on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you practice what you were taught on Sunday. And that practice session should not take you more than 15 minutes on average. At most, it will take you about 30 minutes. What does that practice session entail? Basically, you creating 5 sentences of your own based on what we taught you over the weekend. And then you submit those 5 sentences via voice notes. So it's not that you have to even write them down. You just have to have the words with you and then think about what you're going to say and then record a voice note saying what you want to say, saying it in English, saying it in Arabic. And then guess what? There's a teacher at the end of that would listen to what you've just said and correct you. Okay, so the teacher will listen and correct you, not at the end of the week, daily. Okay, the teacher will listen to you daily and correct your mistakes or assignments daily. And if you got it right, you get a thumbs up, basically, to it. So essentially, this part of it is what sets us apart, which is the daily application of whatever it is you learned. If you imagine when all of you learned your mother tongues, none of you took days off learning your mother tongue. You didn't start learning one day and then the next day you didn't speak the language, and then the next day you didn't speak the language, and then 3 days or 4 days later you spoke the language. That's not how language acquisition works. So we focus on the daily application of the language, and then come the next week, we start either a new topic or a quick revision of what we've done before, and then build on top of that. And then if you can imagine 10 months of daily utilization of the language, of going from simple sentence structures to more complex sentence structures, by the end of the 10 months, you actually have a very solid foundation in the language. Now, usually when people study for a long period of time, 10 months, they forget roughly about, let's say, 20 to 40% of what they learned over that time, right? Which is normal, right? Because 10 months is a long time to learn, and especially the amount we pack into the foundation course. However, what we've then done to really tie down everything you learned over the 10 months is that we've put a 2-week trip at the end of the 10 months, packed with Arabic, packed with over 60 hours of learning in 2 weeks. A typical day in that 2-week session, and the 2-week session is usually in Fez, by the way, at the moment, with a course that's starting next week. We will start the day every day at 9 a.m. From 9 to 11, I teach for 2 hours, practicing what we've learned over the past 10 months. And then from 11 till 1, you will be split out about 4 to 5 students to a teacher, where the teacher will speak to you in the Fusha, in the classical Arabic that you've learned over the past 10 months. So you have the opportunity to really use your Arabic, okay, for about 2 hours with a teacher. And there's no hiding place because it's only 4 or 5 of you to one teacher. And then every evening on the rooftop, we have a really wonderful setting whereby you, as a student, tell a story in Arabic. Day 1, 5 sentences, right? Just 5 sentences in Arabic. Day 2, we increase by 5 sentences, okay? And you can imagine by day 12, you've already reached 60 sentences, okay? So that combination of those sentences you've made daily, and of course, while you're telling the stories, if you make any mistakes, we correct your mistakes. And then you note that correction, and then you, of course, you implement that correction in the next day. So the day 1, you recite a story of 5 sentences. Day 2, 10 sentences. Day 3, 15 sentences. Of course, you can see there's repetition all along. And of course, then that presentation in Arabic is what you give at the end of the 2-week session. And if you look at our Instagram page at Arabic by Application, you'll see examples of what the students are producing themselves. We did not give them these phrases or these words for them to use. They came up with it themselves based on the Arabic they've learned with us over the past 10 months. So inshallah, I hope that that gives you an idea. And then, of course, another thing that we ask our students to do over the period of the 10 months is vocabulary acquisition. We give you enough vocabulary, but we ask you to memorize between 5 to 10 words a day. If you memorize 5 words every day, by the end of 10 months, you would have memorized 1,500 words. If you memorize 10 words every day, by the end of the 10, if you memorize 10 words every day, by the end of the 10 months, you would have memorized 3,000 words plus. Okay, and you only need about 1,000 words for basic fluency in the Arabic language. So we hope that this has given you an idea of really what it takes to succeed with us and the method that we use. We have basically been doing this now, alhamdulillah, with this institute for 5 years, but with Arabic generally, I've been teaching Arabic for 20 years now, alhamdulillah. Okay, so now what we're going to do, and we're going to actually have a practice session. Now, can I ask, for those of you in the group, please raise your hand if you can read Arabic and you've not done any Arabic course before. Okay, those are the 2 conditions. Okay, so raise your hand if you can read Arabic and you've not done any Arabic before. Are you able to raise your hand in the group? I'm just waiting to see who raises their hand. Okay. So we have one person, Muhtasim Quraishi, thank you. We've put your hand down. I'm going to allow you to talk, if you don't mind. So can you say Salaam alaikum, Muhtasim?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Arabic by Application. So have I met you before today, just to be clear?
No.
No. Okay, where are you based?
East London.
East London. Okay, wonderful. And have you done any Arabic before?
I think it was a long time ago that I did start some lessons, and then just life just gets busy.
Okay, all right. How would I say, if I asked you to say Muhammad struck Zaid, would you be able to say that in Arabic?
Sorry, say that again.
If I asked you to say in Arabic, Muhammad struck Zaid, would you be able to say that in Arabic?
I think it struck.
That's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I think it's either I think it's Daraba, or I think maybe.
Okay, so you know some Arabic. I'm looking for someone that actually hasn't done any Arabic before and is as brave as Muhtashim. Okay, so please raise up your hand if you haven't done any Arabic before, or we can still use Muhtashim if you want. But ideally, someone who hasn't done any Arabic before and can read in Arabic. Okay, but if we don't have someone, then I might just pick someone at random. So who wants to raise up their hand? Muhtashim, you can still stay with me, inshallah.
Okay.
Because the methodology, even if you don't raise up your hands, everybody can participate. Okay, nobody wants to join me in this party. Thank you. All right, I accept your refusal or your decisions not to join. So, okay, what we're going to do a sample lesson now. Okay. Muhtashim, thanks for volunteering. And in this sample lesson, I'm just going to show you what a typical class looks like. Now, in a typical class, we'll have between 15 to 20 something students. Okay. And in that class, can you see my screen, Muhtashim?
Yep.
Okay. And in that class, what we do is we first teach students how to make certain sentences. Okay. We translate those sentences. And once we translate them, then we give them words to be able to use to swap in and out and then see whether they've understood. So I'm going to give you guys 5 words. Okay. So these are the words I'm going to give you. I'm going to write them down. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you what they mean. So the first word is daraba. You got that right, which means he struck. The second word is fataha, which means he opened. Okay. The third word is dhahaba, which means he went. Okay. The fourth word is khalaqa, which means he created. Okay. And the fifth word is allama, which means he taught. Okay. So if I ask you, Muhtashim, how do I say he went?
ذهب.
Dhahaba. How do I say he opened?
فتح.
Fataha. How do I say he taught?
قلم.
It's there on the screen.
Um,
Allama.
oh, علم. Sorry, I thought that was Sorry.
Okay, you can say my handwriting is bad. It's okay. I'll
Yeah.
accept. Okay. How do I say he struck?
ضرب.
Daraba. Okay. So those are 5 words. And then I'm going to teach you a few words as well with this. So for example, the name, you guys know the name Muhammadun, just Muhammad. Muhammadun is Muhammad. And then another name is Zaydun. Okay. And then the word for school is madrasatun. Okay. The word, so madrasatun means school. This is Zayd. And this is Muhammad. Okay. Madrasatun is school. The word for mosque is masjidun. Okay. And the word for house is baytun. So now we have a few new words. So masjidun, mosque, baytun, house. Okay. Now, if I say in Arabic, okay, I'm now going to start using these words now. If I say in Arabic, if I say daraba on its own, can anyone, Muhtashim, what does daraba on its own mean?
Struck.
He struck. No, it means he struck.
He struck. Sorry.
He struck. Okay. There's a he there. He struck. Now, if I say daraba Muhammadun. Now that now means Muhammad struck. Okay. Daraba Muhammadun means Muhammad struck. So how do you think I will say Zaid struck?
ضرب زيد.
Excellent. Okay. How do I say Zaid opened? Do you want to try to say that?
فتح زيد.
Excellent. How do I say Muhammad taught?
علم زيد. Oh, it's علم محمد.
Allama Muhammadun. Excellent. How do I say Zaid went?
ذهب زيد.
Excellent. Now, by the way, just to let you know about this method, if you in a class like this, I will mention one student's name and I will switch from student to student. However, there is a very key rule. What is that big rule? Whenever I ask a student one question, every single student must answer. Which means, even though I'm mentioning Muhtashim's name because he was the only one that volunteered, right? What I would expect in a normal class is that even though I mention one person's name, everyone has to answer. But the difference is the only person I mentioned their name will be the one that will unmute. Everybody else will answer while on mute, right? But they will say it loudly. Okay. And how I know that people do this, that sometimes some students actually forget to mute their microphone and I hear them saying it loudly, at which point I congratulate them for following the method. Okay. But then I tell them to mute their mic after that. Right. So now the next part is I'm going to teach you how to say, if I say Daraba Muhammadan, Daraba Muhammadan, that means he struck Muhammad. Okay. So Daraba Muhammadan means what, Sheikh Muhtashim?
He struck Muhammad.
How do I say he taught Muhammad?
علم محمدا.
Excellent. Okay. How do I say he created Muhammad?
خلق محمدا.
Excellent. How do I say he opened a school?
فتح بيتا.
That's a house.
Oh, sorry. What did you say?
He
School.
opened a school.
Mother. Yeah.
Go on.
مدرسة.
Excellent. How do I say he opened a mosque?
فتح مسجدا.
Excellent. Now, that's with this, I've taught you two things now. Now, the third part is if I say Daraba Muhammadun Zaidan. Daraba Muhammadun Zaidan means Muhammad struck Zaid. Okay. Daraba Muhammadun Zaidan means Muhammad struck Zaid. Okay. So is that before I go on, let me ask, is there anybody else that wants to volunteer, that doesn't want it to be just Muhtashim to be the one just doing this? Is there anyone else that wants to volunteer to join? I'm sure you guys are enjoying this, but if you want Muhtashim to be the only one, fine. I don't mind continuing, but I thought I'll give you guys a few seconds to see if anyone else will raise their hand and want to join this, to also participate in this. Okay, thank you, Sabina. May God bless you. Do you want to test your microphone? If it works?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Marhaban. Welcome. Excellent. Right, Sabina, have you done any Arabic before? Just out of interest.
I have, yes.
Okay. How much Arabic have you learned before?
Not much, and it was a long time ago.
Okay. How long ago?
Probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, before COVID.
Okay, before COVID. Okay, that's fine. Normally, by the way, in the last taster session we did, the two people that I chose that were brave enough, they had zero Arabic before, and they still were all the answers you guys were given, they were still given those same answers as well. But let's have you, Sabina. So Sabina, Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan means Muhammad struck Zaid. How do I say Zaid taught Muhammad? Do you want to have a go?
علم
Good.
زيد محمدا.
Excellent. علم زيد محمدا. Excellent. How do I say Zaid opened a house?
فتح زيد بيتا.
Excellent. What about Muhammad opened a school?
فتح محمد مدرسة.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. Well done. Right.
Okay.
Now, the next part. So you can see this kind of sentences, for example, the assignment for the next week, I've not finished by the way. This is not the kind of typical thing we'll teach in a class. I'm going to add one more thing to it. But after adding this last part, which I'm going to do now, then you imagine someone who just learned something like this, and then they have to practice 5 sentences like this every day. And we ask them the best way to do this is they make the sentences on the go, just like they will speak. They will try and memorize the words beforehand, but then practice the sentences just by pressing the record button and just saying it off the cuff. Okay, right. So now I'm going to add some more things to this. So let's go to another page. Okay, and now if I say, for example, Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan fil madrasati. Okay, fil madrasati. Okay, fil madrasati means in the school. If I say madrasatun, it means a school. If I say al madrasatu, it means the school. Okay, so Sheikh Muhtashim, if I say baytun,
No,
it
sorry, I was
means
just
what?
gonna say you're not sharing your screen anymore with the
Oh,
writing.
thank you. I was just checking whether you guys were paying
Yeah,
attention.
so
Well done, well done. I can see that you're paying attention now. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan fil madrasati. Muhammad struck Zaid in the school. Let me write it down. Muhammad struck Zaid in the school. Okay, so madrasatun means a school. Al-madrasatu means the school. Baytun means a house. Muhtashim, how would I say the house? Muhtashim, you still there?
Yeah, Baytun.
Baytun means a house.
Baytan.
No, look at the screen. Madrasatun means a school. Al-madrasatu means the
yeah.
school. So how do I say the house?
Al-Baytun.
Al-Baytu.
Two. Okay.
Al-Baytu. Okay? The house. By the way, this is also important, this correction. Normally, students don't make more than maximum 3 mistakes on the same topic. But once a student is corrected, 70% of them will get it. If they're corrected the second time, 90% will get it. By the third time, it's 100% on the same topic. Okay? Right. So what about the word masjidun? What does masjidun mean? Do you remember? Sayyida Sabina, what does masjidun mean?
Mosque.
A
mosque.
mosque. Okay. How do I say the mosque?
المسجد.
Excellent. Al-masjidu. Right. So you see up there the sentence at the top of the screen, which is Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan fil madrasati. Zaid, Muhammad struck Zaid in the school. What if I want to say Zaid struck Muhammad in the house? Sayyidah Sabina, do you want to have a go at that?
Okay. ضرب زيد محمدا في البيت.
Excellent. Okay. ضرب زيد محمدا في البيت. What about if I want to say he struck Muhammad in the school?
ضرب محمدا في المدرسة.
Excellent. ضرب محمدا في المدرسة. How do I say he opened? You know the word for, do you know the word for city?
بلد.
مدينة.
Oh.
Okay. The word for city is مدينة. A city. Okay. How do I say the city?
المدينة.
المدينة. Excellent. What if I want to say he opened a mosque in the city?
فتح مسجدا في المدينة.
Excellent. فتح مسجدا في المدينة. Okay. فتح مسجدا في المدينة. I'm going to write that down. فتح مسجدا في المدينة. What about if I want to say Zaid opened a mosque in the city? Sheikh Muhtashim, how do I say that? Muhtashim, you there? You have to unmute.
Apologies. I'm tackling two things at once here. Could you repeat that again?
Oh,
Sorry.
Sheikh, you're multitasking.
Yeah, apologies.
We men have to leave that to others, you know. Right. How do I say Zaid opened a mosque in the city? Okay, I don't think I can hear you. Say to Sabina, do you want to have a go? Zaid opened a mosque in the city.
فتح زيد مسجدا في المدينة.
Excellent. فتح زيد مسجدا في المدينة. Let me come back to you guys here. Thank you very much, Muhtashim. I'll let you continue with what you're doing, so not to disturb you. Is there anyone else that wants to volunteer other than Sabina, with Sabina as well? Sabina, you can still hold on. I just want to give someone else a chance to see if anybody else wants to join. Raise up your hand if you want to volunteer to be part of this as well. Why are you guys scared? Do I look scary, Sabina? I don't know why. Have I done something to scare everyone away? Okay, Bismillah, khair. Okay, nobody wants to join us. Khair, inshallah. Let's continue. So Fataha Masjidan fil Madinati, he opened a mosque in the city. Fataha Zaydun Masjidan fil Madinati, Zayd opened a mosque in the city. So let's go back to where we started with. Okay, Daraba, he struck. Fataha, he opened. Dhahaba, he went. Khalaqa, he created. Allama, he taught. Okay. Daraba Muhammadun, Muhammad struck. Daraba Muhammadan, he struck Muhammad. Allama Muhammadun, Muhammad taught. Allama Muhammadan, he taught Muhammad. Okay. So another sentence I'm going to quickly teach you. If I say ذهب زيد إلى المدرسة. إلى means to. So ذهب زيد إلى المدرسة means Zaid went to the school. Okay, this means Zaid went to the school. So how do I say Muhammad went to the mosque? Say to Sabina.
ذهب محمد إلى المسجد.
Excellent. ذهب محمد إلى المسجد. How do I say he went to the mosque?
ذهب إلى المسجد.
ذهب إلى المسجد. Okay. Excellent. If I now say, for example, I'm going to teach you a couple of words, right? What do you know the word for example in the Arabic language?
Um,
Do you want to read that for me, please?
مثل.
Mathalun. Okay. How do I say, do you know the word, of course, you know the word for God in Arabic, I'm guessing?
Allah.
Allahu. Okay. Okay. Now, how do I say God struck an example?
ذهب.
Struck, not went.
Oh, sorry. ضرب الله مثلا.
ضرب الله
مثلا.
مثلا. Do you know what you've just done?
No.
You know what you've just done? You've just recited a verse of the Quran, a part of a verse of the Quran.
Okay.
Can you imagine in your first day of this? For us, people on their first day will be able to do things like this. Okay? ضرب الله مثلا. That's a verse of the Quran. Okay? And let me just show you. So this is in Surah An-Nahl 75. Let me just quickly show you that. Okay, so let's look at. Can you see the first three words?
Yeah.
ضرب الله مثلا. Allah struck an example, or Allah set forth a parable, right? And that's on your first day. ضرب الله مثلا. Allah struck an example. Okay. What about do you know the word for, if I say he created the Quran, how do I say that?
خلق.
Good.
The Quran. Al-Qur'ana.
Excellent. What about he taught the Quran?
علم القرآن.
علم.
علم القرآن.
علم القرآن. Do you know what you've just done again there?
Another verse from the Quran.
Another verse from the Quran. علم القرآن. Do you know where that is in the Quran?
علم القرآن بالإنسان. Surah Al-Azq.
No, I'll show you in a second. Can you see that?
Oh yes, Surah Al-Rahman.
Surah Al-Rahman. علم القرآن. Do you know the word for mankind in Arabic?
إنسان.
Al-insanu. Okay, the word for mankind is al-insanu. Okay, al-insanu, mankind. What about he created mankind?
علم الإنسان.
That means he taught mankind.
Oh, sorry.
By the way, do you know what you've just done there as well? Do you know what you've just done there when you said allama al-insana? That's another verse of the Quran.
Yeah, I meant to say that.
But how do you say he taught mankind? Sorry, he created mankind.
خلق الإنسان.
خلق الإنسان. خلق الإنسان. He created mankind. I don't know whether you knew this already, but let's just quickly show you what you've just done there again. Where are we? Look, the next verse is actually خلق الإنسان. He created man. Okay, so can you see now with the way that we teach, of course, number one, how it is very closely related, because I learned Arabic for the Quran, and the Quran is the most eloquent book in Arabic. As such, whenever I teach Arabic, I have to link it back. I make sure that you're able to construct and such that when you read the Quran, a lot of what you're learning, you can already understand a lot more of the Quran after a few months, okay, of consistent learning. So now, imagine you now going home and then me asking you that I want you to create 5 sentences. Of course, here today, I only gave you, what, 10 words? You're going to have about 25 to 30 words with us, right? And at least 10 to 15 verbs, regularly. And then I tell you, I want you every day to create 5 sentences with the following structure that will be like the kind of sentence that will be like the following structure. ضرب محمد زيدا في المدرسة. So then I'll give you words like kitabun. You know what kitabun means?
Book.
A book. So how do I say, and I'll give you a word like qara'a. You know what qara'a means?
He read.
He read. So how do I say Muhammad read a book in the mosque?
قرأ محمد كتابا في المسجد.
قرأ محمد كتابا في المسجد. قرأ محمد كتابا في المسجد. And then you have to, how do I say Zaid went to the mosque?
ذهب زيد إلى المسجد.
ذهب زيد إلى المسجد. So just to be quite open with you, Sabina, even though you've done Arabic 5 years ago, luckily for you, you've not forgotten a lot of it.
Yeah,
because
alhamdulillah.
normally in a course like this, I would have expected a lot more mistakes than you're making. Okay, so you're not making a lot of mistakes, which means you've not forgotten a lot of what you've learned, right? However, in a course like this, when with new beginners, they will make mistakes, and I will correct the mistakes not more than twice 90% of the time. Okay. And then as a result of that, by correcting that mistake, they learn that, and then they say the correct thing, and then the next sentence, they get it right. Okay. And that's how they learn in the 1.5 hour session in the class. And then they have to make sentences like this, 5 sentences a day, every day for the next 5 weeks. You can see it will not take you more than 15 minutes. Okay. To make those 5 sentences. I give you 15 minutes because I'm assuming if you're slow, it might take you about 3 minutes to make 1 sentence. Where in reality, as time goes on, it will take you less than 1 minute to make a sentence. Okay. But it's in the daily practice, in the daily utilization of this, that neurons are, space neurons are opened in your brain such that you're now you're basically building a new house in a new language by the daily utilization. And if that continues and continues, by the time we get to the 10 months, you will be shocked as to how much Arabic you already know and what you can say. When we start to introduce different structures, today we only did he did. Then the next class, in the same class, normally would also do she did. So we'll know how to say he and she. And then the next class will start to go into you did, they did, we did, I did, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there's a lot more to come with a course like this. Okay, and then we build on that. We build on every single thing regularly. And then by the time you get to the end of the 10 months, you'll look back and go, wow, what a trip that was, right? And by the end of that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you'll have enough Arabic to be able to tell a story in the language. And as I said to you guys earlier, we then have about 2 weeks excursion where you're able to bring everything together and practice everything that you've learned. And by that time, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you'll be speaking daily, and inshallah, it'll be like second, it'll really be quite, you'll be able to use the language quite comfortably. And if you, to see the proof of this, please have a look at our Instagram page and see what our students have done. I think I can just maybe show you, for some of you that might not have Instagram, I can give you a quick view of this so that you can see what they've done, basically. So have a look. I'm just going to share my screen again very quickly. Okay, so just have a quick look at, these are some of the students that have started with 0, and this is what they've managed to achieve after, so for example, this student here,
أجلس في
he
رياض
started from 0, from, without any hours.
ذات يوم كنت أجلس في رياض وكنت متعبا. تفكرت في نفسي أن لم أتسلق أي شجرة في حياتي قط. ويقول صديق من أصدقائي إنني أخاف كل شيء، ويصدق الأصدقاء وليسوا كاذبين. لما وصلت قمة الشجرة استطعت أن أرى أشياء كثيرة من قريب وبعيد. كانت السماء فوقي زرقاء وبدون أي سحب. فجأة
I'll give you another example of another student who also had not done any course, and she was a
ألهم
doctor as well.
خالته لتبحث عن العلم، فقررت أن تبقى في المدينة السرية، ولكن جاء وقته للذهاب في
Just quickly to mention something, these students, all of these stories, they created themselves. These are their daily stories that they've practiced, and now they're giving their final presentation of this story.
الآن فصل صيفي.
Did you say فإنه or فإنه؟
فإنه. اتجه شيخ إلى الغرب، قيل له إن الغرب مكان مال. تخيل أن المال ينمو على الأشجار ودراهم من ذهب من ذهب وفضة في كل مكان.
The boy was present.
كان الولد موجودا.
Okay, the boy is not present.
ليس.
So this is me, just to let you know, when they tell their story, I want to make sure that there are other parts of the course that they've also learned and memorized. So I just test them on the spot to say these sentences they didn't prepare for before. I just test them on the spot to make sure they can say these sentences instinctively. And that's what's happening afterwards. So I hope with this, you guys have had a view of what we teach and how we teach, right? And I hope that, it's given you, hopefully, some reassurance from the students you've seen, and and from the students seen on our website, that inshallah, this is not something that is difficult. It's something that can be done. If you don't know how to read, we have a free reading course on our website. I'm just quickly going to show you that as well. We have a free reading course that anybody who doesn't know how to read can actually just go to this and will be able to learn how to read. I'm going to show you our website very quickly. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so this is our website. If you come to our website, arabicbyapplication.com, if you go to the course finder from the top of the page, if you don't know how to read any Arabic at all, right, and you want to learn how to read, we have a free course for you. This free course has 4 lessons. In 4 lessons, you will learn how to read. Okay, the first lesson teaches you the alphabet. The second lesson teaches you the alphabets with the vowels. The third lesson teaches you some of the alphabets that occur, that basically show in a different way, that are displayed differently depending on whether they're the beginning, middle, or end. And then in the 4th lesson, guess what? You start reading. I have seen someone learn and do the 4 lessons in 1 week and then was able to read. Of course, that person had maybe 3 to 4 hours per lesson to make sure that they captured everything that they needed to do, right? But the minimum time, the maximum time that we expect someone to be able to do this maximum is about 1 month, right? Average, you should be able to do it in about 2 weeks. And after you finish doing this course for 2 weeks, we actually, for free as well, we give you something to read on a daily basis to practice. So we send you a picture of something to read in Arabic, you read it, and you send a voice note of you reading it in Arabic, okay, of what you've read. And then once you read every day for 2 weeks, you know how to read. Even though it's slow, you still know how to read. And then after that, of course, then you're ready for our next course. Now, the next set of courses we have We have the online on-demand course. These are courses which are for people who cannot dedicate a specific time in the week to study Arabic, but they can dedicate 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours in the whole week, but not a specific time. So those people can just on demand, on their own, buy any of these courses, either the bundle or each level one by one. Okay, and each level has a lot packed in it. Okay, we have, there's a lot of Arabic packed in. As you can see here, there are 55 lessons and there are 16 hours plus of video content. There are 10 levels, and then at the end there's an exam to see whether you've understood. After each lesson, there's a quiz to check your understanding. There's also an audio assessment where you listen to someone saying something in Arabic based on what you've learned, so that it helps your listening as well, because listening is important when you learn. And we don't leave you to just do this alone. For us, the proof that you finished a lesson is that we add you to a Telegram group. And after you finish any of these lessons, you send 5 voice notes or 5 sentences that you have created yourself based on what you learned in the lesson. Now, the next course that we have, which is the next best course, better than the on-demand, is the Foundation Live course. With the Foundation Live course, you have a live class like we've just done now, but it will be for 1.5 hours. We have a live class. The class actually starts, this course actually starts on the 5th of October, so next week, Sunday. We have a live class, and that live class is followed by daily assignments. When you register for this course as well, we actually give you the on-demand course that I've just shown you. We give you that for free. Why do we give you that for free? We want to give you an extra tool to learn more Arabic, or to revise some of the Arabic you're going to do in the same course, right? So that we give you more tools to learn Arabic so that you can benefit more. And then, of course, we have weekly lesson, daily assignments, okay? And, the key thing is, as long as you can read Arabic, you'll be fine. And we also expect you in this course, with this Foundation Live, to memorize about 5 to 10 words a day. This is the course without the excursion, okay? So this one, you just fill in this form. Once you fill in the form, we interview you just to let you know what it entails so that you're happy with it, and then we accept payment after that. And of course, the best course that we have of all of our courses is this Foundation Live plus the residential excursion. With this Foundation Live plus residential excursion, you have everything I've mentioned before just now. So you have access to the on-demand course, you do the Foundation Live course till the end of July. And then from the 1st of August to the 16th of August, we go to a really luxurious riad in Fez. Okay, really amazing riad. I'm going to show you a video, some of the parts of that riad. A 5-star riad in Fez, whereby in that 2 weeks, we do 60 plus hours of Arabic. Okay, and it's also, in that 2 weeks, we add a few things to it. We add a cooking class to it. We add a calligraphy workshop to it. When you're in the Riyadh, breakfast is included. And then in the trips, while you're on the trip, we go to the Merzouqa Desert. We do a tour of the Old Fez. This is a really amazing trip where it's really a huge learning trip, right? But we also put some things that you'll enjoy in it. And just to show you where we'll be staying, this is where we'll be staying in Fez. It's a luxury riad. It's a really amazing riad. And we're going to be there for 2 weeks. If you have a look at this place, just to show you guys why, one of the things, this is the amount it costs for you to book a room. This classic room is the cheapest room, is the smallest room. So that's the amount it will cost you normally to book a room in the riad. So you can do the maths of what we charge you for the 2 weeks versus if you wanted to stay in the room on your own, how much you'd have to pay. If you take, for example, just one adult to this, that's the amount you'd pay to rent, to stay in the room for. This is just for one night, basically. If you wanted to go and stay there on the 27th, which is tonight, So why am I showing you all of this? I'm really trying to encourage you that I know that there's a lot of value in what we give, and I know that there's a lot of benefit inshallah in our courses, and alhamdulillah, we've done this now for a few years and we've seen the results. You've seen some of the results on our website. Only recently did we start publishing some of the presentations, but we have multiple presentations like this from previous years where the students from zero usually start from zero, and within 10 months of consistency, they're able to attain a very good foundation in the Arabic language. And the vast majority of them go on to do our further courses, which is the course that comes after the foundation course is the literature course. These are for people who have a very solid foundation already. And then we send them stories to read every week in Arabic. And then we meet once a week and we discuss the stories. And usually in the stories, there's usually an expression that they've not learned before in Arabic, which is to start to teach them to think in Arabic. Right? Not now in the foundation course, to a large extent, you'll be translating from English to Arabic, but then from the literature course, you start to think in Arabic, right? Because of your exposure to a lot of literature texts in Arabic. And then, of course, that is done every week. Then you practice the new expression that you learn every single day as well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then at the end of that, there's an optional 2-week excursion as an introduction to rhetoric in the Arabic language. Rhetoric in the Arabic language is the tool by which you are able to taste the Quran. Rhetoric as a science was actually developed based on the verse of the Quran, which challenged every human being to produce a verse like the Quran, to produce 10 verses like the Quran, or to produce a chapter like any of the chapters of the Quran. And the scholars they debated, is this challenge something that is physically impossible, or is it something that is possible but God stops you from doing it? So they decided the only way they could answer this objectively is if they laid out all the tools of eloquence, which is what rhetoric is, laying out all the tools of eloquence, what they consider as eloquent, right? And then once you have all of these tools, use these tools to ask yourself, can we produce with these tools something like the Quran? And the analogy I like to give for people to understand this is like, imagine if someone gave you a huge amount of Lego, right? So you have huge boxes of Lego, right? And you can do so many fancy things with Lego. And then imagine if someone then shows you the Burj Khalifa in Dubai and said, this was made from this. You look at the Lego and you go, no way. It doesn't fit. And that's what the Quran does to rhetoric. Rhetoric as a science, when you learn it, you yourself come to the conclusion that it is actually impossible with these tools of eloquence in the Arabic language to produce something this perfect. That just makes sense in so many other directions, and so many layers of depth, and so on and so forth. So that is all I wanted to explain to you guys in this session. I'll now open the session up for questions. If you have any questions, you can either raise up your hand and then we'll invite you to ask the question, or you can use the Q&A part to ask the question and I'll answer. Thank you for your time and patience, for those of you that have stayed so far. So any questions? Yes, Sayyidah Sabina, go for it.
I was going to ask, if you choose to do the foundation course and you're not sure about the residential, can you then, inshallah, if you complete the year, can you then choose to do that afterwards instead of getting the whole package at the beginning, like as an add-on at the end?
I understand that. So let me let you in on a secret, okay? I'm going to show you the page again. So can you see this? Can you see the page?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Can you see the amounts that I charge for per person for double occupancy in a room?
Yeah.
Can you see that amount?
Yeah.
Let me let you in on a secret. That amount is actually the cost price for the 2 weeks in Morocco. Meaning, when you pay that amount for the whole course, what you're actually paying for is just the 2 weeks in Morocco. Okay, which is why, if you look at many of our courses, we make it very clear that our courses are non-refundable and non-transferable, basically. So if you were to choose the other course, the Foundation Live, and then you wanted to go here later on, the least amount I can charge you extra is that 2,900 if there are still spaces.
Okay.
Okay, because of course, if you pay for the other course, then that amount goes towards administering the institute. If you pay for this course, this 2,900 completely goes towards all of our vendors, right, for the trip. But if you pay the 3,500, that means you're staying alone in the room. 600 out of that comes to the institute, and the rest goes to the actual course. Now, I know that you will not find any institute worldwide that will charge you these amounts for what we give you, because I know the maths behind it. And I know that it does not make any mathematical sense or financial sense. And some of you might ask, so why are you doing it? Because I have a full-time job as an IT program manager. And this is a passion. This is like a baby of mine, a passion of mine, to teach people Arabic, because I've seen how it's transformed everyone that has taken this course seriously. And as such, I can afford to do this because it's not my this is not my source of income, essentially. Of course, at some point, I'd like to make it sustainable, so it's not all about me, but for now, I can still afford to make it like this, okay? So essentially, the answer is, one, theoretically, yes, but only if there are spaces left. There are only about 20 or so rooms there. So if all the students, usually we sell out by December, okay? Because usually students who haven't decided in October, when they do our classes, October, November, they go like, oh my God, look at how much I've learned in 2 months. How will this be by the time we get to July? And then they just decide we're going to go, but it's still, usually we sell out by December, basically, at the latest. Sometimes in the past, we've sold out even before the course started. Alhamdulillah. So we're trying to push for, last push for sales at the moment. And we're about halfway booked for the trip now. Okay. And I'm hoping this week we will have more. So the answer is, what I would do if I were in your shoes would be as follows. 1st to the 16th of August is a long time to come, right? It is, you can book that time of holiday already if you're working in a full-time job, right? You can say, look, I'm unavailable all this time, right? So you can have that holiday booked. Once you book for this from the beginning, one of the reasons why most people quit many of the language courses is because they've not committed fully to it, especially financially. If you commit this kind of amount financially to a course, you don't quit. We don't have people that quit from these courses. They go on, even if they're not even if they're not consistent, they still go on because they look forward to that trip at the end. It's very similar to what God does to us by promising us something amazing at the end of our lives if we are consistent in his worship. This is, inshallah, you'll have a Riyadh. Riyadh is the name of the place, actually, but you have a garden that will welcome you at the end of this course in Fez, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I would strongly encourage, this is the best course that we have. And this is the course that has produced the best results, the 10 months plus the 2 weeks residential excursion. And you can look at the website. If you look at some of the feedback that we've received, we're going to publish some of those feedback as well. So from the students on our Instagram page, it's really, it's humbling to see, the result of these courses. So the answer to your question is, theoretically, yes, you can do that, but there's no guarantee that there will be spaces.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Go for it. No, of course.
So the live class is on the Sunday. Is it? Sorry, I'm just assuming it's on the Sunday.
It is on the Sunday. You're right.
If you were to miss that for some reason, would they be recorded or?
All of our classes are recorded and were
Okay.
uploaded within 24 hours. And if you miss a class, you have to, especially if you're going to Fez, you have to try to watch the class within 48 hours and you then continue with the assignments.
Okay.
Okay. And then someone asked a very important question. Is there an option to spread the payments monthly? Of course, right? Yes, there is an option to spread the payments monthly. So what we try to do is when you book a hotel and there's a normal price and then there's the non-refundable advance price. Okay. We were given a non-refundable advance price by the hotel, by the Riyadh in Fez, which means we usually have to pay most of the amount by December. So yes, you can pay in installments. We ask students to try to finish their installments by December, where possible. Where not possible, we have still made exceptions and allowed students to pay in advance as long as the full amount is received about 3 months before the trip. Okay, so yes, you can pay in installments. Okay, do we have any other questions? Are you guys still there, or have I put you to sleep? Some of the other people on the call, I don't know whether they're still following. I hope I haven't put you to sleep. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I hope you found it, inspiring. I hope it has inspired you to want to learn Arabic and to also see that Arabic is not a difficult language to learn. No language is difficult to learn. It all depends on how it is taught. The fact that you can speak a language means you can learn a language, right? Unfortunately, one of the negative things about Arabic all these years is that it's been taught in what I would say probably not the best way to teach. Okay, so Arabic has been taught to a large extent with many institutes. They teach it by teaching the grammar and focusing on grammar, whereas everybody learns their mother tongues without learning the grammar first. Everybody learns their mother tongues by speaking and using it first, and then when they can speak it to a level, then they learn the grammar behind it. And that's how we teach Arabic. Once you finish the foundation course, in the literature course, we start to introduce you to Arabic grammar. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Let's see if the people are still there. If you found this session useful, do you want to raise your hand? You don't have to speak. Just raise your hand if you found this session useful. Okay, just wanted to see how many people did find it useful. It's okay if you didn't find it useful, but just wanted to see. So I have 3 people that have said they found it useful. Okay, thank you. Oh, I have a few more now. Okay, if you've not found it useful, inshallah, I hope that, if you could tell me what maybe I could have, what you didn't, or how or why you didn't find that useful. But inshallah, if you found it useful, I hope that you go ahead and learn Arabic. Arabic is a science that's really, So is that also for the course without going to FES to do a payment plan? Yes, that's also the case for the course without going to FES. Whether or not you're going to FES, we do accept payment plans for students. And let me also let you in on another secret. One of the students that went to this course 2 years ago, she started, I shouldn't have mentioned the gender now, but anyway, she started from scratch, 0. She could not read any Arabic, okay? And then after she was completely moved by doing the foundation course and doing the literature course and finding herself in a position where she's opening the Quran and understanding the Quran, she decided to sponsor 3 students every year to FES. So what we do is, for students that register on the Foundation Live course, we pick 3 students based on their consistency, right? And based on other situations as well. So based on mainly their consistency, right? So those who attend the lessons and do their daily assignments, we pick 3 students and offer them a scholarship. They only have to pay for their flights, offer them a full scholarship to come to join us in FES. So every year, 3 students come to join us in FES without paying, okay? And if someone comes to us and really wants to learn, but they can't afford the full amount as well, we also have some scholarships that we've been given 2 scholarship positions, right? That we will offer to students who want to learn but cannot afford. This is without the trip, but cannot afford to pay, okay? So alhamdulillah, some students that have studied with us and seen how transformative the course is, they have also, wanted to make sure that more people can learn with us. One of the reasons why we're able to do this is because we're a small institute. As such, we can only teach about 30 or so students in a particular batch maximum. And those students, we give them all our attention. And we make sure that they really, really do learn Arabic by the end of their term with us, if they are consistent. Okay, any more questions before we call it a day? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you so much for those who have participated. Thank you, Sabina, for participating. Thanks to Muhtashim for participating. Thank you for those of you that have listened throughout. Thank you for those of you that have asked questions. Inshallah, if you have any more, if you have any more questions, you can reach out to us via our Instagram page, or we also have a WhatsApp number where you can also reach out to us directly on our WhatsApp number. I'm going to quickly just type that here so that you can all see that. And if you want to reach out to us on WhatsApp, you can also do that. Our WhatsApp number is, I'm just going to type it now here. So 07392611172. So I'm going to type it here so that you can all see. Right, actually, I can't type it. I'm just going to share it on the screen. So our WhatsApp number is So I'm going to share my screen now for those of you who will want to have a look and just reach out to us via WhatsApp. So this is our WhatsApp business number. Okay, 07392611172. So it's 07392611172, Arabic by application. And if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us directly and we'll be able to answer your questions. Or you can follow us on at Arabic by application. By application on Instagram, okay? And you can also see we have a YouTube channel as well at Arabic by application, which you can also follow. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate for all of you that participated. Thank you so much. And inshallah, wish you all the best. And I hope this will make you all decide to learn Arabic, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.